Lotzenheiser. I'm president of the board of directors. This is the face behind all those mass emails you've been getting from me. I apologize for the looks, but it is what it is. There's been a lot of questions on Facebook and emails and phone calls to board members. So what I'd like to do is take less than 10 minutes to kind of explain, here's what's going on with the settlement agreement. If you look back past the last 3 years, we've gone from settlement price of $1.7 million lease for 99 years. We were at $18 million with a 10-year lease. Then there was $15 million with a 10-year lease, etc. In the past 3 months, we've been working seriously on negotiations with the bulk buyer. During that last 3 months, there's been many give and takes. We've negotiated the small skirmishes and even the big stuff. We've put up with threats on what they're going to do. So all of these skirmishes and lawsuits, we finally come to agreement on a settlement. The bulk buyer is extremely experienced in this type of legal and real estate maneuvers. They've got deep pockets, and even more importantly, they have the commitment to keep up the lawsuits for many years to come. It's unfortunate that they were the winning bidder when the FDIC sold the property, but it is what it is. Recently, in the last 2 months, there was a property over Destin called the Palms of Destin that was very much set up like Shores, Panama. They paid amenity fees to get into the pool area. They did have a convention center there. I believe they had 455 rooms, not 700 like us. They were not on the beach. And that was purchased by the homeowners for $11 million, maybe $11.5 million. That's really the only benchmark that we have of a property that's sold that's very similar to ours. The settlement agreement has 2 important dates. The first date is the start date, and then there's the commencement date. The start date is when we actually sign the contracts. Our attorneys have been working on the contracts for literally 4 or 5 months. It's about 25 pages long, plus 100 pages of exhibits. The start date is when that contract is signed. That could be signed as early as perhaps tomorrow, or more than likely it will at least be signed before the end of this week. Then, once we sign that, the next important date is the commencement date. The commencement date happens after the owners, 2/3 of the owners, approve the settlement. So once the contract is signed, we'll make copies of the contracts, we'll put a proxy in there, it's all sent out to the owners. There'll be a time period, probably 3 weeks, in which to get all the votes back, and if 2/3 of the owners vote yes, then the settlement goes into effect. If they vote no, then we just start all over. By the way, the bulk buyer is committed to vote for the settlement, and so in order to get 2/3 majority, what we really end up with is 216 of us independent owners have to vote yes. If we don't get to 216, then the deal starts over again. Let me give some general answers to questions that we saw on Facebook and the phone calls and emails that we get. First of all, nothing happens until a commencement date. No lawsuits are dropped. The amenity fees don't go away. We have control of nothing. Once we hit the commencement date.
Oh my God.
Oh, hey, she just walked in front of me. Hey, no, that's okay. Just let it go. That was Denise, by the way, if you happen to catch her face.
Denise, say hi.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Say
Hey guys.
Yeah, she's my moral support here, as well as Jeannie and Ronnie are here. Nothing happens till the commencement date. So there's some concerns that we're going to drop the lawsuits and then this contract won't happen. We've taken care of that. At commencement date, which could be like maybe February 7th, 8th, 9th, possibly as soon as that, we take over all club operations. For all practical purposes, Surge is out of the picture. All of our aggravation with Surge basically was about club operation stuff. We will own the club operations, so he's kind of out of the picture. The bulk buyer will continue to rent their 232 units and also attempt to sell them. We believe, based on everything we've heard, that the bulk buyer is, in fact, really interested in selling out. So we expect that to happen in the next couple of years, but they can do what they want to do. But we believe they really are going to sell out. The contract has been written with our attorneys and their attorneys and board input. It's comprehensive. We believe there are no loopholes. We heard some comments on Facebook that they'll find a gotcha in there where we pay them some money and then it'll all fall through and then they come back in. That's not going to happen. The other question that needs answered is who participates in buying the club operations? And the answer is all 709 residential units pay for this. Up front, in the earlier negotiations, they wanted the cost of purchasing the club to be borne only by us 475 individual owners. So they will pay their fair share. The May trial, there's been some talk about we should wait until the May trial is done. The legal system is, the brutal reality is, it can go on forever. The trial was originally scheduled for August of last year, then it was moved to May of this year. In the last couple of weeks, we found out that they are dead certain on postponing that again. According to our attorneys, we haven't even started any depositions. There's been no research done. So in all likelihood, with Fensom as the judge, they'll go, yeah, we'll postpone it. The trial was set for 10 to 12 days on the court docket. You don't just, 2 months later, you get another 10 to 12 days. It could very realistically go to 2018 until that May trial would happen. So during that period of time, we continued to argue and fight and all that. So just waiting on the May trial may mean that we're just kind of waiting for years. The federal trial award was very big, and it was positive for us, and it was a big negotiating item. The brutal reality, again, is there's a big difference between getting awarded a dollar amount and collecting that amount. It's become very apparent that we're looking at another 2 or 3 years of legal action trying to collect, and the ability to collect all that $11 million, it's not going to happen. It would be worth a lot less than the $11 million. While we're dropping all the minor legal skirmishes in the big federal court trial and the May court trial, we are going to proceed with suing Ben Solomon, who is the Miami attorney that Surge hired for September 2014 through November. That attorney is the one that misled the board on how they can go about taking our deed to the beach away. It was malpractice on his part. Our attorneys and even the bulk buyer attorneys agreed that what he did was egregious and illegal. So we're going to sue Ben Solomon. By the way, the bulk buyer is also suing Ben Solomon. So we're kind of teaming up. Not really teaming up, but we're sitting at the same side of the table. But we have our damages that we're looking for. They have their damages. The other lawsuit that we're continuing with is suing the FDIC. They did not give us the right of first refusal as was written in the contract. They just didn't do it, and that's illegal. And so we're going to sue them and try to get a multi-million-dollar settlement for their misdeeds in 2012. Both the Ben Solomon and the FDIC trials, not trials, but lawsuits, have a much greater probability of winning and actually collecting the money. We do have three experienced commercial and financial owners who are looking into the funding for an outright $15 million purchase. They're working on that. From the input that we got from owners, it appears that the preference to save money would be to purchase outright instead of going through a 5-year lease and then a $13 million purchase. So if it's financially feasible and if the association, the owners agree, 2/3 will purchase outright. I think that's about covers all the questions that we've seen on Facebook. The future Shores is extremely positive. Unit values will go up. TripAdvisor reviews will be positive. Rentals will go up. We'll make improvements in the fitness center, the pool area, the spa, and the lobby. And as we make them, this resort will actually become, in fact, a 5-star resort that you all thought you were buying into in the past years.